Welcome back to Our Community. Susie Thomas visiting with Jen Brony from the Junior League of Stark County, getting ready to invite new people to join and kind of begin their training and get going. And yeah, if you are so inclined, on September 7th, after the football game, you want to go to the Akron Canton Food Bank at 11 p.m. until 1 a.m. and then go out to breakfast with these gals and talk about how much fun you had helping out with the Akron Canton Food Bank. Jen, people would be amazed at some of the things that Junior League has done in the past. And I don't want to put you on the spot with a pop quiz or anything like that, but what comes to mind of some of the past things that you've done for the community that might surprise us?
So, not being from this community, it's been really interesting as I've gotten to know the community more. I had friends when I moved here who talked about sitter service, and then I learned Junior League started that. Or, we had a partnership with the Martin Center for the last 3 years where we served meals there. We built a high-capacity kitchen for them. We supplied a van. That was a really unique partnership for us. We've worked with Boys and Girls Club and have done some educational training there. The other thing that I think everyone usually talks about within our league is our partnership that we have with Pegasus Farm and how impactful that was. We've done quite a bit of work with Habitat for Humanity, and actually, prior to me being in league, Junior League of Stark County did an all-women's build, and I think it was the one and only all-women's build.
So cool.
Even to this day.
Wow.
So there's so many things, and I look around at Stark County, and there's so many things that league started, and I don't know that anybody realizes that was the initiation, and it's still going.
Because that's what they do. They start things and then find an organization that can kind of take it under its wing, and then Junior League finds another need, starts that up, and turns it over in a very humble way by not really taking the credit for it. They're visible during that time, and then as they turn it over and allow something to flourish and grow under its new home, people forget that Junior League started that. It is kind of amazing. It's an amazing philosophy and kind of a very cool thing, because then you're not fettered by all these things to keep them all up and running. You can look for the next thing that's needed. And it is kind of a neat way to reinvent yourself and find out what's new now and what is needed now. And my goodness, as we look around our community and see the needs, hats off to you for picking food insecurity. Did you become more aware of that as you were working in the Martin Center and basically located in somewhat of a food desert?
That was exactly it. I don't think any of us realized how many food deserts there are in Stark County and how great they are. Mm-hmm. I think it's easy to think that food is provided, there's the food bank, there's shelters, but when you really get down to it, it was very eye-opening for most of our members to know that there were kids who, when school was out, they were not getting meals or holiday breaks or weekends. If they weren't going to school, they weren't eating. And I think we all knew that some of that existed. I don't think that we realized to the extent until we got into our work with the Martin Center.
Just that sentence, if they were not in school, they weren't eating. Mm-hmm. That's incomprehensible and not okay in the country and day and age in which we live.
Right?
How can that be?
So, and then it all trickles down. If kids aren't being fed, they're not able to perform well in school. It's just a vicious cycle that so many of our kids are involved in, and so many, we're finding that it's women, it's elderly. There's just a lot of populations that do not have access to food.
They honestly don't know where their next meal is coming from. That is hard to just allow to sink in. When we're talking to a group of people, many people right now listening to this, you live on a farm. There's always food. It's very, very difficult for us to even comprehend that is taking place in our community, but so glad that you're doing something about it. This was a cool thing. What did you do when you found out about the extended vacation time? Talk about the backpack program you put together. That's
so
awesome.
Our eyes got opened really quickly at the Martin Center, and so what we did is we had given money to get backpacks for the kids, and the logo had the Martin Center on it and a number that they could call if they ever needed anything. So for holidays and long weekends, we would stuff the backpacks with non-perishable food items so that we would at least know that those kids had something.
Mm-hmm.
And we did multiple hundreds of backpacks for each break. And then we did again for summer break. And just trying to fill the gap between school hours and when the Martin Center was open so that those kids would definitely have something.
Yeah. Of course, this takes money. So Junior League, part of what they do is fundraise to support these projects and everything. Talk about your fundraisers and how people can help and support it.
So we switched to a fundraiser last year. We did a night at the races, which actually ended up being a really fun event and something that was a little bit different for us. We did it in April, and we're looking at doing it maybe in February this year. Again, a great place for anyone to come. It's just a fun night. We're also looking at multiple times where we can do the restaurants and get a percentage back for that. And we're looking at adding a second fundraising opportunity. Mm-hmm. We also this year are hoping to increase the number of corporate sponsorships that we have for our events.
Great idea.
And we always would not turn down any type of donation or anyone who feels that they're drawn to the cause and would like to donate.
Yes, particularly if food insecurity is on your heart as well. Mm-hmm. And you'd like to do something about it. Junior League is going to be addressing this and coming up with something spectacular, I'm sure, to do something really important in this area. So if a person wants to just donate or would love to be invited to any of the fundraising opportunities, is there a place to go? How can they find out more information?
So again, we have everything up on our website at jlstarkcounty.org. And if there's a form that you can fill out and we will get in contact with you, there's also an email address that you can email or a phone number there that you can call. And we would absolutely love to send out a invitation and or donation form.
Mm-hmm. Great. Personal stories are always the best. So Jen, for you personally, what's it meant to be involved in this? Certainly, it's got to be important enough that you would say yes to being president. That is a man-killer job, I'm just going to say. It's really a tough one. And, God bless you for saying yes to that. But why? What is it about this organization that's been fulfilling for you?
I think the biggest thing, I've always volunteered throughout my life. I think the main thing is the training, and I love that it's a women's only organization. Like I said, I moved to Stark County and knew very few people, and I wanted to stay involved with something that was based on my interests and with like-minded women, and I have some of the best friends that I've met through Junior League.
Yeah.
And I also feel that my husband and I, we have been very blessed. God has blessed us. And I just feel compelled to give back as much as I can to my community and to teach my son what it means to give back and to serve.
Yes.
And so even though most Tuesday nights he says, so you're going to another meeting, I try to teach him what it's about and giving back so that he sees, we have to think beyond our own community, neighborhood, and self and look at what's going on throughout the county.
Yeah. We're always happiest when we're not thinking about ourselves, aren't we?
That's true. I like that.
It's just my code of living. If you're feeling bad, start thinking about somebody else, and it immediately makes you feel better. You talked about volunteering. and that you were raised with that mindset. Not everybody is. Not everybody is raised in a home where volunteering is the norm and where mom and dad always have some kind of thing that they're just giving something of their expertise without asking to be paid for it. Why would a person volunteer if this has not been the way they've been raised? If this is a new concept, a new idea, why would I volunteer in my community? What's important about it? What does it mean, and what does that add?
I think not only does it give back to the community, and when we give back to our community and make the community as a whole better, we're all going to be better for it. I think there's just such a personal fulfillment, and I see this with a lot of younger members coming through after we do a volunteer opportunity where they stand back and they are so excited and proud of what they accomplished and really feel like they made a difference. Mm-hmm. And that is just something that not all of us get in our job or in our day-to-day life, but you really can stand back and say, I did my best today to try to make my world here a better place to be.
That's beautifully said. I want to jump back to one more thing that you mentioned, that right now you've got junior leaguers, active members from different generations. We've got millennials working with non-millennials, and I don't know, who would be the highest generation? Gen X, or you don't?
Gen X.
Yeah,
which I think that would be what I belong to.
Down to maybe the Zs are coming along. And so how does that dynamic work? Because you work differently.
You do, and you communicate differently.
Yes.
Millennials, they want to text and they don't want to pick up a phone and call necessarily. And I know that that's a blanket statement, but we discuss this so many times. And so we really sit down within a committee and say, okay, what is your best form of communication? Do you want me to email you, text you, call you? And it's really been fun to see how it kind of all comes together. And to be quite honest, there's so much that I've learned from our millennials.
Nice.
As far as technology goes. And there's things that I think that I probably teach them on the flip side.
I'm sure that's true.
But I think that appreciating the differences within the generations and working together and bringing it together and knowing that what maybe a millennial brings to the table and what I bring to the table, we can make a complete project out of it because we're both bringing really neat different ideas.
That's awesome. All right. Where can we go for more information? What's the website again, please?
It is jlstarkcounty.org.
Jen Baroni, thank you so much for all you do in our community.
Thank you, Susie.